My name is Zaki Faus Aryadi from 11th grade, majoring in software engineering, and I want to present about 25 minutes a presentation about Flutter. What is Flutter? Flutter is an open source application framework created by Google that provides a fast and expressive ways for developers to build native apps on both iOS and Android. This is because apps and interfaces made with Flutter are built from a single codebase, compiled directly to native ARM code using GPU, and can access platform's API operating system. Flutter is engineered for high developer velocity. Stateful hot reload allows you to change your code and see it come to life in less than a second, without losing the state of app. Flutter also shipped with a rich set of customizable widgets, all built from our modern reactive framework. Plus, Flutter integrates with popular development tools, which means you can get started quickly with the editor or IDE you already know and love, such as IntelliJ IDEA, Android Studio, Visual Code, and Xcode. Flutter moves the widget's rendering, animation, and gesture into the framework to give you complete control over every picture on the screen. This means you have the flexibility to build custom design. For example, Reflectly. Reflectly is an app made by a Flutter engineer. This app is a journal utilizing artificial intelligence to help you structure and reflect upon your daily thoughts and problems. It is available on App Store and Google Play Store. Flutter apps follow platform conventions and interface detail, such as scrolling, navigation, icon, fonts, and more. This is why apps built with Flutter are featured both the App Store and Google Play Store. And what makes Flutter unique? Flutter compiles to native codes. Flutter no reliance on OEM widgets, and Flutter have no bridge needed, and Flutter have no markup language. It is only Dart. Flutter is great for developers both new and experienced in mobile. If you're new to mobile, Flutter gives you fast and fun modern way to deliver native apps. If you're an experienced developer, you can add Flutter to your existing workflows and tools to build new expressive UIs. Flutter is free and open source and used by developers and organizations. Flutter is free and open source and used by developers and organizations around the world, including enterprise, agency. Flutter is free and open source and used by developers and organizations around the world, including enterprise, agencies, and startups. I want to show you an example of beautiful app built with Flutter, that is Reflectly. Here's the video.
Beautiful design was the critical success factor for Reflectly. Reflectly is a journaling app that we created to counteract the stress that comes with social media and technology. Digital well-being is important now more than ever, so our goal for this app is to provide a safe space and break from the stress that technology can bring. Therefore, this app must be personalized, safe, and beautiful, so all users can open up and feel they have a unique relationship with Reflectly.
The beginnings of Reflectly should be us very small team and only 2 engineers. However, we wanted to reach users on both iOS and Android, so we built the first version of Reflectly using a traditional cross-platform framework. But given that Reflectly is all about beautiful design and user experience, we felt restricted in our ability to deliver a consistent personalized design for both platforms. For example, frequently shadows were cut off and animation were always sluggish, and so KPS was then needed to find a new solution and implement it in Flutter. And it just worked. So out of the box we got an extreme value used and that was kind of key deciding. And from the first line of Flutter code was written, we were done in 2 months. That included some large new features like our entire image implementation. Flutter paints every pixel on the screen directly, so now we don't have to worry anymore about the difference between iOS and Android renderer content. It still adapts to the unique characteristics of each platform. We can keep a common code base and still build iOS and Android specific UI where it's appropriate. It was a revelation for us that we were actually able to move so fast while still not compromising our ambitions.
So Flutter is great because it allows you to control every single pixel on the screen. But it also allows you to actually structure your code in a way that's maintainable and refactorable. For example, to create the elegant and informative transitions we use the Integral widget because we're able to invest basic widgets across the Flutter framework. Our initial build of the UI was greatly effective while still maintaining performance.
So we deployed the app to millions of users all around the world, and they loved it.
After we launched Reflectly 2.0, one thing that made us particularly happy was how well the design was received. We thought it was beautiful, but it was great to hear that from our users as well.
Overall, we were very satisfied with how Flutter is performing. It has enabled us to build a beautiful UI that we mentioned, which got featured in Apple's Reality platform. It has cut our development time in half, released new features simultaneously on Android and iOS.
And now, with Flutter for the web, we can deploy our existing code base for Android, iOS, and web.
With Flutter, we were able to deliver this beautiful experience to millions of users, and month over month, we're seeing double.
So that is Reflectly. Beautiful, isn't it? And now I'm going to tell my experience using Flutter. Before I got to know Flutter, I made an application at my school using the Kotlin programming language, and I was happy to learn it. But after I got to know Flutter, I felt that there is more easier way to create an application. I've been studying Flutter for almost 2 months, and I really enjoy building apps using Flutter. Flutter is very easy to learn for junior developers like me. Its simple code and support for multi-platform make it easy for me to create Android and iOS application. So, what have I made with Flutter? I want to show you one of my several apps built with Flutter, that is Doki. Doki is an app for patients that needs to book a doctor for their illness without going to the hospital. I made this app for joining a competition which is held by SMKDev and EUDK. In the home page, it contains a carousel slider on the top of the screen to show the latest news about healthiness. Under it, there is Found Us feature that provides the location of the hospital you want to choose and the detail about the hospital. Underneath that, there is a feature to see about the hospital. You can see the picture of the hospital and the list of the available doctors. Underneath that, there is the hospital contact. In the service page, it contains a search field on the top of the screen to search for facility, service, and event. In the booking page, it contains lists of available doctors to book. And in the profile page, it contains an information about the patient and show history, booking, and notification. And how I can install Flutter? Don't worry, I will show you. Because I'm using Mac, I'm just going to show you how to install it on Mac OS. Don't worry if you're using Windows or Linux, you can go to flutter.dev to install Flutter. To install and run Flutter, your development environment must meet these minimum requirements. That is, you have your operating system must be macOS that support 64-bit application, and you have to have 2.8 GB disk space. This does not include disk space for IDE or tools. For the tools, you can use Bash, curl, Git. For the tools, you can use Bash, curl, Git, mkdir, and others. After that, you can get the Flutter SDK by downloading the installation bundle to get the latest stable release of the Flutter SDK. You can get it in flutter.dev page. Then, extract the file in the desired location. For example, change directory /development and unzip that file. And finally, add the Flutter tool to your path, and you're now ready to run Flutter command. And after that, run the following command to see if there are any dependency you need to install to complete the setup. This command checks your environment and display a report to the terminal windows. The Dart SDK is bundled with Flutter. It is not necessary to install Dart separately. Check the output carefully for other software you might need to install or further tasks to perform. The following section describes how to perform this task and finish the setup process. Once you have installed any missing dependency, run the flutter.tar command again to verify that you've set everything up correctly. And that's it. You can now start your first Flutter project on your IDE. Set up IDE. For now, I'm just gonna show a quick guide to set up Visual Studio Code. If you're using Android Studio, you can check it on pub.dev. For you who doesn't know what VS Code is a lightweight editor with Flutter app execution and debug support. To install the Flutter Dart and Dart plugins. First, you have to start the VS Code. The second, invoke view command palette and type install, and then select extension, install extension. Type Flutter in the extension search field, and then search Flutter in the list, and click install. This also installs the required Dart plugins. Validate your setup with the Flutter Doctor. Invoke view command palette and then type Doctor. And then select the Flutter run Flutter Doctor. Then review the output in the output pane for any issues. Make sure to select Flutter from the drop-down in the different output option. For creating a new project, first you open the command palette by clicking Ctrl+Shift+P, or if you're using Mac OS, Command+Shift+P on Mac OS. Select the Flutter New Project command and press Enter. And then enter your desired project name. Then select a project location. How can I open your project for accessing source code? To open an existing Flutter project, click File, Open from the main IDE windows. Browse to the directory holding your existing Flutter source code files. Then click Open. Selecting a target device. When a Flutter project is opened in VS Code, you should see a set of Flutter-specific entries in the status bar, including a Flutter SDK version and a device name or the message no devices. There are a bunch of widgets in Flutter, but I want to show you some widgets that I like and use the most. First, there is container. Do you have a widget that requires a background settings, maybe a shape or a color in the background or a size limit? Try wrapping it with a container widget. Container widgets are useful for arranging, decorating, and positioning child widget. If you write the widget in container widget, without other parameter, the difference will not be visible in the appearance. However, if you add a color parameter, the child background color of the widget will change. Without anything else, the container will resize to the children. Use the container's padding property to increase free space between the child widget and the container boundary, and use the margin property to increase the free space around the widgets. With the decoration property, you can add shapes to your container such as circles. By default, the size of the decoration will match the children. In this case, the container corresponds to a circular decoration. Up to the narrowest parameter, the height of the widget text. You can style the decoration with margins and padding, just like before. Use the alignment property to align the children inside the container. After you set the alignment, the container will expand to fill in the width and weight of the parent. You can ignore this by setting the width and height properties of the container or by using box layout model. For example, with box constraint, containers can be expanded to fill in the size given. Even transformation can be applied to the container. Let's spin this container to add a new idea to the design. Second, there's list view. Have you ever had a set of items do you want to appear in a scrollable list? List view is a widget that can do this. In essence, you provide a list of items, and the rest will be handled. What do you mean the rest? You may ask, well, everything is customizable. Don't like scoring vertically? Change the score direction to horizontal or keep it vertical. Prefer a bottom-up approach? Set backwards to true. Want a list that's not scrollable? Make with never scrollable scroll physically. Do you want to leave the item as garbage collection when off screen? Disable automatic keep alive. Or if you want to more control from off screen, use change extend. Would you like to have a long list of items that are easy to make, or vice versa with needs to made dynamically, or list view that builder instead? What not to like each item facing the next item? Use separate list item with separator builder. Don't forget to reveal how many items are on the list. If you're using a constructor, if nothing works, you can create your own custom list with silver child diligent. Stream builder. Apps today are completely asynchronous. Anything can happen at any time, in any way. You can analyze this event as a data flow. Dart strongly supports asynchronous data flow via streams. Who do I use streams in the Flutter app? Use the Stream Builder widget. Stream Builder will anticipate events from the stream. Posts will be repeated for each new event, which results in a recent event. Start Stream Builder with Stream. Just install it. Then write the code. Give a summary. State what your application looks like. And then you can provide initial data so the widget displays something while waiting for the first event. If not, make sure there is data in the summary. If not, you can display the loading indicator. For more details, check out connection state. As always, anticipate mistake. Snapshot.hash_error is very useful. You can use Stream Builder with data from Firebase Event Center, even the network connection status. and that is Stream Builder. Next, there is Media Query. If you're writing an app for both phone and tablet, you'll want to have different UI layout for screen size. You might find yourself in a similar situation if your user has a preference set for a much larger font size or want to minimize animation. Thanks to Media Query, you can get information about what size device you're on, as well as user preference, and build your layout accordingly. A previous widget of the week introduced Layout Builder, which could tell you how much space a particular widget has available. Media Query provides a higher level view of your app's screen size and can provide more detailed information about user layout preference. In practice, Media Query is always there. You just access it by calling mediaquery.auth in your build method. From there, you can look up all sorts of interesting information about the device you're running on, like the size of the screen, and build your layout accordingly. Media Query also allows you to check a device orientation or determine if the user has modified the default font size. You can also check out the part of the screen that are obscured by a system UI, much like a lower level save widget area. You can look up interesting accessibility information, like whether the device is requesting, your limiter animation, or the level of screen contrast. Next, there is stack. Do you feel stuck in a row, column, or container-based layout? If you want a widget that is stackable, Stack is the widget for you. The stack takes the widget list and performs a through rendering on top of each other. By default, the right size match all unpositioned children, which you can replace by expanding the field the parent stack. Without any condition, all instances of stack will align with top start, depending on the direction of the text. The alignment property changes this for descendants of stack that are not positioned or only partially positioned. Position widget can be used to give a certain position to certain child in the stack. Sometimes that will put child widget outside the stack boundary. Use overflow to counter whether the widget is out of bounds or cut. Folder Fire. Folder also support Firebase. We can call it Folder Fire. For you who doesn't know what Firebase is, I will tell you, but I think everybody knows what Firebase is. Firebase is a back-end as a service or BaaS app development platform that provides host back-end service such as a real-time database, cold storage, authentication, crash reporting, machine learning, remote configuration, and hosting for set files. Don't worry, I'm going to show you how to add Firebase in your Flutter project. First thing first. Before any Firebase service can be used, you must first install the Firebase core plugin, which is responsible for connecting your application to Firebase. Add the plugin to your PubSpec YAML file. Once installed, Firebase needs to be configured to work with the various platforms you're working with. You can follow the step on Google Firebase website once you have added your project. Then, call the initialize app method on the Firebase class. Before any of the Firebase service can be used, Flutter Fire needs to be initialized. The initialize step is asynchronous, meaning you'll need to prevent any Flutter Fire related usage until the initialization is complete. To initialize Flutter Fire, call the initialize app method on the Firebase class. The method is asynchronous and returns a future, so you need to ensure it has complete before displaying your main application. The example below shows how this can be achieved with a future builder or stateful widget. First, import the Firebase core plugin on top of the project code. Then, create the initialization feature, a set of build widget. After that, return the future builder widget and initialize Flutter file inside it by adding the initialization that you created earlier inside of the future property. And then you can check for errors by adding condition snapshot.hasError for checking if snapshot has an error, and add return condition if an error occurs. Once completed, show your application by adding condition snapshot.connectionState equal to operator connectionState.done to check if the connection is good. Otherwise, show something waiting for initialization to complete, like circular indication progress or something else. Once initialized, you're ready to get started using Flutterfire. And this is the code that using stateful widget. And that's all. It's right. I hope you can get more information about Flutter and how to implement it in your project. Sorry for my mistake during this presentation, and see you.